to 7 pounds in the first week. 4 pounds has been about the average. As you lose weight and as you take these Bella Melts, it's going to help lower that blood sugar in your body as well.
All the information is there. MelissaHouseBG.com. MelissaHouseBG.com. Just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 fast action.
Nature has a rhythm.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for joining me today. I almost didn't make it. It's been a wonderfully productive but back-to-back day. So just bear with me as I'm going to rush through my intro just because I'm still rushing in my own head. We are live on worldviewtube.com. That's worldviewtube.com. Also on worldviewtube X account on Rumble and on our app, which I always say, if you haven't installed it yet, I strongly suggest you do. Go to your app store, look up WorldviewTube, all one word, install the app, turn on the notifications so you do not miss our programming, especially when it comes to breaking news and special coverages. We are also live on X America News X account, and we're live on my channels on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Substack. A lot to cover. A lot. I kind of said it before, mainly on Brown House show, that as we approach the holidays, we're going to see more attacks and more chaos. However, it's a lot. I almost did a show yesterday, Sunday, but then I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'll wait until Monday. So we have a lot to cover. But before we cover any of the chaos, any of the sad news and the heartbreaking information, let's start with a positive today. My Substack today covered it, and I should say probably this, that I do invite you to join my Substack as a free subscriber. Of course, if you can step up and become a paid subscriber, that would be a fantastic Christmas gift. But the next 3 weeks, starting today until New Year's Eve, majority of our Substack is going to be historical. I'm going to cover history of the day, of the week, as we move forward to close the year, mainly because I've heard many times that, we need to remember, those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it. So starting today, I did the first historic Substack, which goes back to December 15th. Today is December 15th, 2025, but the Substack is of December 15th, 1791, the day that our first 10 amendments became the law and rights that we fairly don't practice today. So I invite you to read that Substack. It was fascinating for myself to write it while doing research and looking up all the ups and downs, and a message in there that I closed the Substack by saying, now we remember, for anyone who didn't remember, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's not like I had it marked on my calendar, but now we remember December 15th, 1791. Let's also remember the assignment that was assigned to all of us that day by our founding fathers. And the assignment was that these aren't just rights for us to consider using or not using, but they are also rights that we were assigned to protect and fight for. So with that, hopefully as we come to an end of this year, starting 2026, some of us who have forgotten the assignment will pick up where we left off. We need to get back on the responsibility, though it was a gift given to us by wisdom and experience of our founding fathers. It was also an assignment. It was a responsibility. And I thought that would be a good way of starting the historical Substacks of the last few days of the year. So head over to liveuptofreedom.substack.com. Read the Substack. It is for free. It is free to public, so all you need to do is be a subscriber or not. You don't even have to be a subscriber to read it, but I do invite you to become a subscriber. And we're going to get through the week until Friday. Every day will be a reminder of that day, December 16, 17, and 18 of certain year and what has happened and why we should remember it. And then Friday is a different one. And if you think of a historic day as we step into next week, 22nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 29th, 30th of December, that you think is relevant and I should write about it as a reminder to our people, don't hesitate. Put it on the comment section. Send me a message on Substack. Send me an email. Say, hey, Annie, December 27th, I don't know, 1776, this happened, so write about it. And I look forward to your messages. And as always, I should say, we are live. So I will check on the comment section as we get through the show. I think my brain is finally calming down. I feel like my speed of talking is catching up with reality. And I should also say that there were 3 events. Let me conclude. And again, let's celebrate today as the day that our first 10 amendments became our laws, our rights, and our gifts. But then also let's remember we're losing them very quickly. On that note of losing them, a lot of events, of course, happened since last time I was on air, or I was on Brannan's. But 3 major events happened. Now, our side of country, mainstream, alternative stream, whatever you call them, they focused heavily on one, some on a second, barely third one got touched. So I'll start from the third one. For those of you who missed it, I did report on it the day it happened on Friday on my Substack and my Facebook, which is where I put most of my day reports, meaning short reports just put out. And they're annoying, I know. I put like 20, 25 reports a day out. But in Syria, 2 American soldiers and an American translator were killed by ISIS. Of course, our prayers go to their families and loved ones. I pray that we don't forget their sacrifices and look the other way and give it a minimum spotlight, maybe a line of report, and then move on to something that's going to get more clicks, which is very sad. But it is one of those times that there are hard questions to be answered, or at least asked, not that we're going to get answers. Number 1, my question is, though I'm very grateful for the sacrifices all of our men and women make to protect us here in America, but this one, the Friday one, is another war that I will have to ask, was it theirs to fight? Was that fight theirs or not? Since I'm in the mood to plug my Substack repeatedly today, the Wednesday Substack is going to have that very discussion. Now it's going to take us to Iraq War and all of that. But I asked the same question in that Substack that I'm going to ask today. The translator and the 2 American soldiers who were killed on Friday, December 12, did they make the ultimate sacrifice for a fight that was theirs, or for a fight that yet another administration made it ours? Let's talk about it. As most of my audience are very well aware, because I did not let that one go and constantly covered it, we had al-Shura legitimized by Trump, first in Saudi Arabia, then here in America. And the day he came to White House, it was announced that his country, since he's legitimized president of Syria, his country is going to join the coalition, American coalition of stopping ISIS. With that, he we didn't hear it from our government, but al-Shara, on an interview that I played it, we broke it down at Brandon's show next day, he mentioned that President Trump has reasons to want to have military presence in Syria. This was the reason. On one hand, we hear that President Trump is legitimizing al-Shara, and just a quick reminder, he's also known as Jelani, the man we had $10 million bounty on his head, the man we wanted because, well, he has blood of American soldiers on his hand that was never wiped off. President Trump is legitimizing him because President Trump said by himself in the White House during meeting with al-Shara that al-Shara is a great man who's going to do great things for Syria, make Syria great again, and be an ally of America. I repeat my question. Why is ISIS in Syria our problem? Why? We have plenty of ISIS, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, IRGC, you name it, right here in America to be stopped, to be arrested, to stand trial, to be deported. Sending our soldiers to Syria on their assumption, I'm giving him some room to breathe here, and their assumption that somehow al-Shara's government is going to support our soldiers is a risk that is uncalled for, and it is absolutely unnecessary. Now, again, we heard from Hegseth and Trump saying ISIS is going to face harsh consequences. Well, yeah, whatever. Al-Shara hasn't addressed this yet. As the president of Syria, he has not addressed it yet. Nothing. And he's not going to address it. But the sad news is our country didn't either. As I said, you probably saw one or two headlines and things moved on to the next topic. And then the third one, that was the major one. Not saying the third one didn't deserve much coverage, but I'm saying the first one deserved just as much. But the cover-up continues. We have to go take our first ad break, guys. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to glance at the comments. We'll be right back and continue the discussion. Well, hello, everybody. It's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my artist studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. But I'm sure for this, I hope I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. Staying with me until now, and yes, one of the greatest way to support what I do on my Substack, on air, on other programming, trying to self-publish the book is by making a purchase on my artist studio, which is lutfstudio.com. That's lutfstudio.com. Use promo code MISSION for extra discounts. And I know we're a little low on inventory, but I'm working on it. It will be built up. And on that note, I should address something. Last Monday, I made an announcement that soon we're going to be adding some new pieces from another artist, not mine. This one's on me. I normally wait before making announcements like this, but I got ahead of myself. No hard feelings, no harm to my studio and platform, but that deal fell apart. I got a little ahead of myself, and to be honest with you, I thought about it today. I said, was that me trying to force the person to commit? Which would have been a terrible idea. If I did that, I will hold myself accountable. But anyways, I do apologize for a false announcement I made last week. But no worries, my own pieces are going to continue coming up, and LETF Studio will be right where it's at. But I wanted to be clear, just in case if any of you were awaiting some sort of new product to be popping up from another artist, that is not happening. But I do have good news. We do have a new sponsor. And as you guys know, except this time, well, it wasn't a sponsorship, it was a collaboration, but except this one time, I normally don't really come up with this is sponsored, that is sponsored. I'm pretty picky, especially if they have gag orders on me. But we have an amazing sponsor. I have used their product for a flat 6 months now. Now I'm coming to you after they passed the test of 6 months. And today I want to actually talk about this one. Very cute. I do have a URL for the new sponsor. It is cyruswellness.com. Simple as that. You can just go cyruswellness.com. Those of you who are on my Substack, you'll see their banner constantly in the middle of my Substacks. Or those of you who go to my website, there's also a banner for them. But easy way, cyruswellness.com. They have they have a lot of items. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and talk about all of them, but I want to talk about this. What is this? This is my 5th one, just for the record. This is a brand new one. I just opened it for prop today, but I have one in my bathroom, one in my car, one in my kitchen, one in my basement next to my inventory shelves. Why? This is called window cloth on their website, but I call it my miracle worker. I'm a little picky when it comes to, as those of you who have ordered my pieces, when the piece arrives, you don't find fingerprint or dirtiness like scrubbed, even resin. This thing doesn't even require anything. Like I spray water, wipe, spotless, clean, done. And then it's done. I don't need chemical. I don't need sponge. I actually have a glass stove top or stove glass top, whatever, however you say it. That thing has been shining every morning before I make my tea for last 6 months. I have one in my car, so when I'm on the road, when you're doing a road trip, your window's constantly, I don't need to stop, use the gas station papers. I just spray water and then wipe my windshield, and it is like there is no windshield. I'm right out there. So that is the first product I'm going to vouch for in the last 6 months. It has changed my life. It's probably saved me a lot of money not buying the sprays and a lot of health for my lung, not spraying the material I used to spray. cyruswellness.com is where you can purchase whatever of their product, but this is my today promo, the window cloth. Grab it and you get yourself a wonderful cleaning tool. Works on any glass. As I said, I even use it on my resin. And save yourself some money on products you need to use to have clean glasses or a stovetop or mirrors or windows, whatever you clean, because if you're like me, you clean everything. And also save yourself some health issues. cyruswellness.com. That way you also support me because they are a sponsor. I will talk about more of their products every day, every show, but just head over. Even if you're not making a purchase, just check out their products and the system, the formula, all the secrets behind it. Me, I don't. My English is not good enough to read all of that, but you find them on the website when you try to purchase, or you can contact Pat. She's my direct contact. She will literally explain everything to you. She will walk you through how to make it work, all of that. Her information is on the website, cyruswellness.com. Yes, I'm very glad. I'm very happy for this new sponsor. I guess because I'm a cleaning, I love cleaning every morning, literally every morning. The product has made a lot of difference, so I figured I'll share it with you. Okay, let's head over to our comments real quick. It's great to see you as well, Zelda. And okay, Dawn says, I love Brandon House. I love Brandon House too. But he did not mention the soldiers murdered in Syria on his midday radio show today. He spent most of the time talk about the attack in Australia and also the shooting at Brown University and the murder of Rob Rayner and his wife. Understandably, if it makes you feel any better, I will be joining Brown House tonight to talk about our soldiers, the ones that were killed, the ones that were wounded, also the American translator. Also, you need to realize, again, we only have 1 hour. Like with his radio, he has 50-some minutes. So that's where, he knows Annie Cyrus is coming up 2 hours after him. He knows Annie Cyrus is going to touch on it. This isn't me trying to defend Brennan. I'm just saying, when you got to look at us as a network. There are a lot of times that Brennan won't touch something on his radio because later on, Yosama Daktok, Sharam Hadi, and Hedi Amir Ahmadi or Annie Cyrus are joining him on Brown House Live to cover it. So I would say, and I know for a fact, he actually asked me to join him Monday at Brown House Live on Saturday. So I know I'm going on his show, and he also knew I'm covering it. So that would be done. That's most likely, I'm not speaking on his behalf, but my understanding is that's most likely why he did not touch on what happened in Syria. And again, that's, for example, that would be something I wouldn't touch on. Rob Reiner and his wife. There was something I was going to say, and since you brought it up, all I want to say is I'm not defending the guy or the wife or whatever, but I personally, on my Facebook page, when I reported it as a report, not a coverage, somebody said the guy hated Trump. So what? So he deserved to be killed because he hated Trump? Like, this needs to end. This needs to end. You want to sit there and tell me left is all about hate, and your comment about a man and his wife being murdered brutally by their son make it about just like Trump made it about himself? So since you brought it up, that's all I have to say. But my point is, we all pick the different topics. So one, the network doesn't end up sounding like an echo chamber. Everybody's talking about the same thing. And for me, for example, the murder, I pray for them. May they rest in peace. It's sad, but it's not a topic I touch on. Now, let's go back to Syria real quick. And I do apologize. As I started with such rush, I forgot to mention the 3 U.S. soldiers who were wounded. Let's pray for them and pray for healing and recovery for our wounded soldiers as well. But back to it. So we have this question. And as I said, I have not seen anyone ask the question of Mr. Hexet. This one directly. Pete Hexet. Why is this our war? I mean, I understand you changed the department name to war and you're all excited about war and you've been constantly talking about war. But this one, sending our troops to Syria under supervision of al-Sharaz militia, that is now a legitimized military because we decided to make, they are still a bunch of militia. They're still a bunch of jihadists. They are not trained. Remember, part of the reason we sent our troops there was to train these jihadist militia soldiers to become real soldiers. Why? When are we going to end that? I'm going to expand. We did that in Afghanistan. We did that in Iraq. Doing it in Syria. Why? I need to know why. I don't know. Maybe nobody else cares. Maybe you all know the answer. But I want to know, why are all our soldiers fighting other people's war? Why are our soldiers training a group of people that are either going to betray us or going to betray their own country? What is this desire of America to be everybody's grandpa? We need our soldiers for our wars. Maybe we don't get into them, but what is it? We claim that there is no war. We are under the president of peace. But then 2 soldiers killed, 3 wounded, and a translator killed. Why? And again, I go back to, why is this not the headline of every single news of left or right, alternative or main? I don't care. This should be equally up there as the other 2 events. Stop covering up. They made the ultimate sacrifice. The bare minimum we can do is honor their sacrifice by asking the right questions. by emphasizing on what just happened, by holding those responsible. That is the only way we can honor their sacrifice. And I'll say this before anybody comes here saying, you are questioning their sacrifice. I am not. I am honoring their sacrifice. I am sick and tired of 25 years of ultimate sacrifice made by our soldiers fighting other people's war. No wonder this country is at a point that they have to beg people to enlist. They have to beg people to re-enlist. This is why. Because our administration loves to take credit for everything, regardless of who's in the office, by the way. Republican, Democrat, Trump, Biden, Obama, it does not matter. It doesn't. We got into this mode of America is everybody's hero except its own people's hero. Again, if I do invite you to read my Substack from today. I do believe I titled it The Scene Americans Forgot. December 15, 1791. That's the title of it. The purpose of our founding fathers creating a government that is so, to this day, is still unique to human society was for America to be the land that honors its citizens, protects its liberties before anyone and anything else. We are far, I can't even see it, even a shadow of it from here. And again, I repeat the question. Why are we spending precious life, time, and money to train Syrian jihadists to supposedly help us to stop ISIS? If we wanted to stop ISIS, we would have stopped ISIS. This is all a charade. We got to go to our second ad break, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to continue this discussion.
News is moving faster than ever, and so are we. Worldview Tube brings you 24/7 live stream coverage and now real-time alerts when it matters most. Once you have the Worldview Tube app installed, exit the app and navigate your way to Settings. In Settings, locate the tab labeled Notifications. Select the Notifications tab. Scroll down until you locate the Worldview Tube app icon. Select the tab, and here you can turn on and customize your notification experience for the Worldview Tube app. News doesn't wait, and neither should you. Turn on push notifications to stay informed. Every headline as it happens.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. I greatly appreciate you being here. Let me go ahead and address some of the comments here. Hi, William. So good to see you from Kentucky. Good evening and much love from Germany. Well, hello, Germany. You guys stay safe. Hi, Julie. So good to see you. Will you write a book about your life? I have learned not to say yes, absolutely. It is on my list of the dozen books that, Lord willing, I will be writing before I retire. Lord willing is the key word. If it is His will, yes, ma'am. The book about my life or my autobiography will be completed and published one day. If it isn't His will, then it will not happen. This is also crazy. I do not hear anything about Rob Reiner and his wife until Brannon Live this afternoon. Right? That's what I'm saying. It's the pick. By the way, Dawn, I saw your comment. And yes, now it does make sense why he didn't touch it. That's the thing. there are subjects that becomes highlighted and everything else flies under the radar. That's, our media has become so selective on all ends, not just mainstream media. I think I reported on that, I don't know, 10 or so this morning when I got the report, that is. Hi, Paymanjan, good to see you. Too many wars are being funded, too many people are homeless and hungry, yet wars are funded more and more. Hey, Lynette. I know it has been a while. Good to see you. The comment about wars being funded is from Julie. And yes, ma'am, it is being funded. That's the thing. The Wednesday Substack history, walking down history lane, the Wednesday one addresses that. There are so many wars that we're still part of, but because the government came out and told people that's over, people believed it's over. And they don't follow up. They don't look up. That's one of the reasons you barely see. Like if you go Google it, you'll see the report, but you don't see it amplified of what happened in Syria is that. Because you're like, wait, I thought we had Syria under control and we're now friends, and why are our soldiers being killed there? These questions are not to be asked. Therefore, we don't report on them. Now, we got the Afghanistan situation, we have the Pakistan, we have India, we have Iraq, and on and on and on and on. But that's the problem. I can't sit here and tell you we'll end all wars, because that's not going to happen, for the fact that, well, there is way too much money and way too much power to be gained as long as wars are happening. And that is the problem. It's been a long time, a very long time, that wars aren't about wars anymore at all. They are not. They're about power and money. That's it. And that's why we keep getting involved with them. Though we pretend to be making peace and ending wars, the reality is Trump administration or any other administration has no intention of cutting that money and power off. They're not. Sue said, I read that article and I decided to keep it. To be perfectly honest, when I was a child in a school, I don't remember it even being impressed on us why the Bill of Rights is so important. Oh, Sue, thank you. I think you're talking about my article. I appreciate that. That does mean a lot. Yes. I think one of the reasons I decided to touch on history for remaining days, most of remaining days of this year, is that very fact that, I don't know, I have always been fascinated with history, of course. And I'm still learning about American history, of course. I don't know as much as I know about Middle East or Iran or Persia, but I'm learning, and I figured as I learn, I share with you guys, because I'm almost sure many of you don't know either, not because you didn't want to. It's, they don't teach it at the schools, or they twist it and they, all that. But I'm very glad that it touched you deep enough for you to decide to keep it. And please make sure to also share it for those who may not have seen it or read it, or may not even be subscribers. And Rapture, hello and happy Hanukkah to you as well. Okay. Let's do this. Let's head to the second event that got the second most attention. I need to cheat because my cheat notes are here. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so apparently on December 13, sorry. On Saturday, we had the Brown University shooting, right? Which, by the way, is last I checked, they apparently released the suspect and said we got the wrong suspect. If anybody has an update, this was a few hours ago. If they found a new suspect, let me know. If not, yeah, that one got plenty of attention, that you have all the details. So you don't need me to give you the details. But here's what I will say. I will say that I will talk about the Brown University shooting on a very a different angle. Let's look at it at a different angle. I'm not going to say there were Jewish professors, or the shooter had nothing to do with Islam. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go here. If you look back for decades, we talked about how Democrats and left use these mass shootings to push further their agenda of taking our guns away. I have said it at some point in my life. You have said it. Some people still say it. But let's look at this now. These mass shootings, either at the schools or universities, either one, they are starting to look way more like a coordinated effort to normalize inhumane reaction to deadly massacres than has anything to do with taking our guns away. Let me elaborate on that with a few minutes I have on this segment. I look back at 2 years ago, last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and I literally looked back. Oh gosh, I do like this new me who actually has a printer. I literally have a list here. I don't think you can see the text on it. No. Okay. This is literally the deadly shootings at U.S. colleges and universities record. Like I have the 2025, the December one, the Brown University, the Kentucky State University. I have the Florida State University on April 25. And then we have the University of Nevada, December 2023. February 2023, we had the Michigan State University. I should probably say 3 killed. University of Virginia, November 2022, 3 killed. And then we have the October 2015 in Oregon, 9 killed. 6 killed in 2014, University of California, Santa Barbara. We had 6 killed in June 2013, Santa Monica College. 7 killed in April of 2012. Oakland, California, February of 2008, 5 killed. Northern Illinois University, and then we have April of 2007 with 32 killed in Virginia Tech. I have gone back to apparently 1966. That was University of Texas in Austin, 13 killed. So when I tell you I looked back, guys, I really looked back. Okay. I'm that person. And I know most of you know, but I just want you to understand that when I tell you that I looked back or I looked into, I really did. I look at these numbers. I look at these patterns. And the more I look at it, I'm like, wait, this pattern maybe originally was this by design and manufactured by left. I'm not declining or denying that. I'm just saying it looks like somewhere from 2020 on, it changed pattern, or it changed purpose, not pattern, sorry, purpose. Due to reaction or lack of, right? We have more of them happening, less killed in each event, but put together in a year, more number of killed than the 13 killed in 1966, or the 12 killed in 1996, or the 23 killed in 2007. The total comes to larger number, but it's expanded into more repetitive to where it becomes norm now. So we either continue the pattern, we as humans and parts of this nation, that is what I mean by we either continue the pattern by not being aware of what we're being subjected to, meaning normalization, or we need to reset. There is a reset button in all of our brains. I kid you not. I've done it. You all know I've done it, right? We have to reset our mindset. We need to stop a solo narrative picking that is more comfortable and come to realize there is a very wide and strong umbrella over our nation before anything else. There are other parts of this umbrella, but the biggest umbrella is one nation under God, right? And as Christians, we are told to even pray for our enemy, right? So when these events start, because they're not going to stop, they're going to keep happening. The next time, or even just go back in your head to Saturday, the last time it happened. You need to reset your mind instead of sitting there and trying to dissect. This is another left narrative. This is another right narrative. This is another anti-gun narrative. You need to think about this. Regardless of the narrative that is coming out of this situation, this crisis, I am going to respond to it as an American, as a human. I will personally, again, I will say, please, my fellow Americans, if you have not read it, open the Constitution, read all the details in articles and sub-articles and footprints and, a small print of Second Amendment. I think I mentioned that on my Substack today. Did I? No. I mentioned that on today, but I also mentioned it on the Thursday Substack from last week, where I said the Second Amendment is being taken away. No, we're handing it over. There are so many states that the people of that state, regardless of their mindset, some people are genuinely scared of guns. Some people do really believe guns kill people, but majority of people don't. But they will put down their arm and follow the laws of their state, though Second Amendment is a federal-based law and not under any part of Constitution or legislation is transferable to the state. But again, lack of knowledge about the Bill of Rights, lack of knowledge about the Constitution, lack of knowledge about the difference between transferable power to state versus non-transferable power to the state. We have bought into this narrative that my state, it's your choice. You can go to a blue state, you can go to a purple state. We play these stories. But I want to encourage you, look at these events of mass shootings as an American instead of a narrative of left or right. We have been programmed to accept these events as something political. It is not. And I hope you can reset your mind the way I have resetted my mind so many times in so many different circumstances of my life. And I'm very grateful that I learned to do it. I'm asking you to do the same thing. Go do what I did. Look at the patterns where you had one mass shooting to where now you have 12 a year with bigger numbers of casualties, but less reaction. Less people care about caring and making sure if they're going somewhere, they are caring and they can protect people and they can protect themselves. That is what happened. It becomes so normalized by spreading or stretching the pattern into a different scenario that we have become comfortably now. The same thing applies to jihad and all of that, which I will address on the last segment when we touch on what happened in Australia briefly. But for now, inside America, you need to reset your mind and look at all of these mass shootings in a very different way. It doesn't matter if it's a school, it's a university, it's a military base, it's a mall, it's a restaurant, it doesn't matter. These kind of patterns are reprogramming our American minds, pro-Second Amendment American minds, to let go of what is being planted and constantly think they're coming for our guns. That is not the narrative. We got to go to our last ad break. Sorry, I'm talking too much. We'll be right back to conclude on the show.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Would you like to gain access to over 20 years of my radio shows, TV shows, my books? I've written 15 books, and most of those books are ebooks now. And we have conference DVDs, conferences where we filmed our conferences at the Ozarks, literally starting 20 years ago. It's all available in our archived vault. All you have to do is go to worldviewtube.com/vault, worldviewtube.com/vault, and for a reasonable monthly fee, you gain access to over 20 years of Christian worldview programming, news, information, books, documentaries, and a powerful search engine. And folks, it's a great way not only to educate yourself, equip yourself, but it's a big way that you can help fund our continuation as a broadcast network. Please check it out. worldviewtube.com/vault, worldviewtube.com/vault, and help us continue pushing out a Christian worldview.
Back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. I'm sorting through my cheat notes here, so don't mind me looking down and flipping through papers. I do like it. I don't know. I'm still old school. I like the touch of paper and ink. Anyhow, okay. Yes, guys, I always say support Worldview Tube. Because the longer you support Worldview Tube, the longer I will have a microphone here on film. Worldviewfoundation.com is where you can make your end of the year donation. Worldviewfoundation.com. When you go there, there's also an address. If you're like me, paper and ink and a pen, you can send in a check. But make sure to send in some end of the year giving, gifts, tax deductible. You get your receipts by end of January of 26. As I said, the more you support Worldview Tube, which is heavily supported by Worldview Foundation, the longer I'll have this microphone here to come here and talk about things most people don't. Okay, so I do see some of your comments, guys, and I pretty much agree with everything everyone is saying. And Paymon John, I agree. Said always listening, always thinking, always learning. Thank you. That's the thing. It's like, let me go on a personal note for a minute. Last week, midweek, close to the end of the week, I literally had a moment where I was like, there are a lot of people who constantly tell me that I do a lot. And that I am the person who sits and say, how can people that I know just sit there and do nothing? Like, what is your purpose? What is your motivation? Like, forget it. Don't you get tired of just sitting doing nothing? And I don't mean doing something as of writing or creating art, just doing something with your head at least. Like, think. Think for yourself. Think for yourself. I have this meme on my Facebook from 7-8 years ago where I said, see it with your own eyes, feel it with your own heart, challenge it with your own mind, and then make your decision. Because that's what I do. I do all those steps. But that's the thing. We gotta always be listening, learning, thinking. They have disconnect. They have literally shut off the entire critical thinking of this country. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to say I'm better than anybody else. It's just that I do. Many of you kindly have told me repeatedly, like, I read your Substack and it's such an angle that I never thought about. Or I go on somebody's show, or Brannon is always like, that's why we like having Annie here, because she's going to tell us exactly what it is from a very different point of view. That's probably because I never stopped. I never stopped thinking for myself and let somebody else do the thinking for me. Even when I'm writing my pieces, I come across a piece in my research, I'm like, interesting. I challenge what I just found and I dig deeper. Though the person I found the document from doesn't even know me, I go digging and try to see if, because something about it feels off, so I go find something to counter their claim. That's how much it's like, and again, those of us who believe in God and His power, we know we were created ultimately with sharp brains. That's what the biggest differentiation between humans and animals is our thinking process. We can think. We're humans. We're flawed. We sometimes think crazy stuff, but we have the brain cells to think for ourselves. Okay, I'm getting way too deep into philosophy now. I shouldn't. Let's go to Anne Rapture would like me to make a frame. Make me a frame. Oh, you want me to type out what I just said, frame it for you, and you'll purchase it. I appreciate that. Yes, I can do that. If you, since you're on Anne Rapture, you're on YouTube, so do you mind sending me an email, liveuptofreedom@gmail.com. Send me an email so I know how to get a hold of you, and I will certainly make that for you, and it will be my gift to you. No need for you to purchase it. I'll gift that to you. I appreciate it. Let's go to Australia, shall we? Let's go to Australia. And I want to, a few things that I noticed, I mean, I don't know, maybe people got to it late, but mind you, this is the second father and son duo The first one was the one that I covered. I will literally say no one touched it except local news in Utah, and then I grabbed it, expanded it, called the Utah City Hall and Utah Sheriff Department and all of that. But the first father and son, Pakistani father and son duo was here in Utah few days after the brutal murder of Charlie Kirk. That was the first. The only reason it didn't work is because their bomb malfunctioned. That's it. Those of you who missed it, I covered it on my Substack, I covered it on my show. Dan Brown had me on his show to cover it. Go back on my Substack, you'll find a full report. Names, charges, and then I updated it when FBI dropped all the important charges, slapped them with a couple of soft ones. And now we have the second Pakistani father and son duo in Australia. Most of you, thankfully, know majority of the details. What I want to touch on, this was important. This father and son Pakistani duo was important. This is something nobody's connecting the dots. Why? Because they didn't cover the Utah one. So they think this is just father and son Pakistani. Let's go. Difference though. The Australian father and son, both Pakistani born. The Utah one father, Pakistani born, son, born in America, Utah. That's where he was born. But anyhow. Second thing I want to say here. How much do I have? 9 minutes, 20 seconds. We can make it. Second thing I want to say about what happened in Australia. Yes, there are mixed reports out there. I can confirm Ahmed Al-Ahmed, the man who jumped the father, the gunman you see him jump is the father, the hero of the day. And I say that loosely, and I will tell you in a minute why. I'm not saying that because he was also a Muslim. He is recovering well, thankfully, prayer to answer. His injuries, he took 2 bullets. He's fine. But he is of Syria, is a refugee from Syria, also a Muslim. Yes, absolutely. The reason I say the hero loosely comes back to, did he really stop the attack or eliminated killing of more people? If you look at it, regardless of who are the attackers, who's the hero, which country this is happening, we look at it as an investigative eyes. No, he didn't. You watched a video. He tackled the father, gets the gun, the rifle, points it at the father while watching him walk upward towards the bridge to join his son again. And then immediately you see that he grabs another rifle next to the son, not son's rifle, another extra one, and starts shooting again. So, for those of you who are going to come at me saying you want to undermine this, that's fine. But I am looking at the hero of the day. I'm looking at this. How miserable human society have come to, that a man who took 2 bullets, when halfway there, got the gun, but didn't pull the trigger to actually defuse one of the 2 shooters, is called a hero. This is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. This is where I'm going with my part of reporting of what happened in Australia. Because nothing else about it is new. The anti-Semitism has been there. Attacking Hanukkah celebration has been there. But this is where I come and say, really? People of Australia, people of Europe, people of America, people of anywhere. Narrowing in on people of America, why do you run when you hear a gunshot? I'll tell you one. Because you sit there and brag about all of your gun collection, but you barely put yourself in enough practice to respond on the real circumstances of a shooting. You look at the son, not the father. You look at the son, the demeanor of this man. He has been trained. He has shot that weapon over and over. He has been shot at over and over. Of course, Europe and Australia, we already know, because of no gun rights, people just run and scream and hide. And if they do manage to get one of the guns out of the attacker's hand, they just put it by the tree, go their own hands up. Mr. Ahmed Al-Ahmed, great job. That was bravery. But mission wasn't completed. For all the people of the world in the future, if you're in a situation when you do grab the gun from the attacker, why did you take the gun? So you bought extra 15 seconds for him to go get the second gun? Is that the purpose? I'm going to leave the rest of my personal comments out of this show, but I want to address this. What happened in Australia should have been ended within the first 35 seconds of it. It didn't. From a stand-down order to terrifying thoughts of Islamophobia, cost lives. Same thing is going to happen again and again in many different places, including America, and we're going to learn nothing about it. We have a minute left to wrap this show up. Again, I'm very excited to announce CyrusWellness.com, our new sponsor, my obsession product, window cloth. This is my 5th one. I will personally guarantee that if you buy this product, you will message me and you will thank me, especially again, if you constantly clean your windows, mirrors, if you make resin, computer, anything with glass, you will message me and you will thank me for introducing you to this one product until we get to the rest of the products they have. CyrusWellness.com is where you can purchase, and your purchase will support partially, part of your purchase will support me. LiveUpToFreedom.substack.com. LiveUpToFreedom.substack.com is where we need 10 more paid subscribers to meet our goal before end of the year. I am grateful for all of your support. And those of you on board YouTube, I'll see you tonight on Brown House Live. The rest of my audience, I will see you tomorrow. Same places, same channels, same time, live. And bring your question, comments, concerns, agreements, and disagreement to help me get through the show faster. Y'all stay safe. See you tomorrow.